Left Cincinnati about 10:30 a.m. and drove to Fort Thomas to find home of Harlan and Anna Hubbard. They're now at Route 2, Milton, Kentucky, across from Madison. So we inquired and chased around Madison looking for Hubbard's Payne Hollow, found it, and were asked to stay overnight, which I agreed to readily. Really fine couple, about 45 or so. Actually, at that time, they were much older than 45. Well, not much, but they slept. They slept out in a little trailer. I forgot that there'd been a trailer there at some point. And we in cabin, I brought boat around onto Indiana side and paddled across, because we always had a boat, a canoe or a kayak or whatever boat. He doesn't say which one. Hubbard's, this is the next day, that Wednesday, because Dad worked shift work with the state police, so he would be off sometimes during the week and not always weekends and stuff. So Wednesday, June the 29th, we left Hubbard's about 10:30 a.m. and made it home just in time for him to leave to work. Ran fish lines in morning in full boat. Oh, so it was the full boat that was there. They gave us beans, lettuce, cabbage, etc., to take with us from their garden. Hubbard's cook on fireplace outside and eat there. Also had home ground cereal and bread. So this was when I was 2 years old. So okay. I do not remember that. That's the first visit, I'm sure, because that was a picture. And then these are from the next, some of these are from the next.
These are great. I've never seen these.
Those are from the next summer. In May, what did they say? May of '56.
Oh, he's carrying the cello case there.
Yeah. Oh, look at me. I was kind of tired.
Oh.
Yeah. That's Mom
You've
and
had long
Anna.
hair ever since.
No, there's a couple short hair episodes were really not pretty, not funny enough. And that's from that. Those 5 are from that.
Yeah.
Oh, and this, I know I sent you one of these.
Cool.
I sent you. That's my brother Harlan and Harlan Hubbard. And this is the and these. I just photocopied things.
And
Harlan, your brother was named after Harlan.
My brother was born in '56. We had met them in '55. And my younger brother was named Harlan. And neither my older brother nor my younger brother are living. My older brother just died this year. My younger brother died in 23. So I'm it.
It's been a rough couple of years.
Yeah.
This is from, it says on here 69, the developing. Mm-hmm. But my mom or dad had written, and this is my writing because these are photocopies. Mom or dad had written on them 68. Okay. So. But there, I thought that was cool because it showed Anna in the kitchen. And, oh, was I lovely or not when I was a teenager? This is a high school friend of mine. And
you had
my
glasses?
Mom. Oh, yeah, for years.
Because you
There's
don't
Anna.
anymore?
Contacts have used, and that's my dad. So that's...
Contacts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a high school friend. And then I'm standing there with my glasses, my dad and Anna, of course. And we went down. And
that's amazing.
Because several of my friends have
Maybe
come
if
down.
they were like my parents, the reason the developer says 69 and she said 68, sometimes they had film that stayed around in the camera for a while.
Yeah.
They didn't take as many pictures as we do
and my
these
dad,
days.
I don't think
What
he did.
is that?
That's
the goat.
That's the goat shed.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see in that, but the original wasn't any better much. And then that's my younger brother Harlan. He stayed there in 68 in the summer. He was there for a week, and I think it was 68, maybe it was 69, but yeah.
Those are great.
And then this one, and I didn't make a copy of it, but this,
It's very cool.
I don't know, that's my grandma. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Your grandma came along?
Yeah, my grandma came along once. I think that's my grandma. But it could be somebody else. Those could be people I don't know. There's Harlan, and there's Anna, and there's my dad, and there's my younger brother, and that's me. I'm sure that's me. So that one I do not have a copy of. I can make a copy, but it's later.
Gotcha.
That's some.
Yeah, it went pretty far up there, didn't it?
There's the third one. Oh yeah, and I don't know what, because that's the house and that's the studio, and that's the house and that's the studio. But what's this building?
That's behind the studio.
And there was water around it?
No way.
See, that can't be. Original. I may have a second copy of the original. But this, yeah, feel free.
What was that from?
The Sunday, something Inquirer.
And that's from, well, oh wow.
Somewhere here in
That's
Cincinnati.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. I just,
Oh, look at that.
I mean, it was just part of my life, you know. And I don't know, this was just in stuff my mom had or whatever. Plus, you may have these copies if you were at all interested in them.
Sure.
But
And you say
this
you wrote them
was-
for college?
One of them was for college. Which one is which? This one was for a college essay. That's why it has these red things, because when I typed it out later or put it on the computer, this was a correction my professor had made. It was about dark wind, and he just said, right, about dark. We finally, blah, blah, blah.
But these are about
About the
experiences in the
Hubbards.
Hubbards?
Yeah, this was a storm. We were camping, and when I was 10, and we had a new tent and a smaller one, and we were camping, and then it started lightning and thundering, and so Howard, my older brother, we talked about this sometime in this last year or so, but the tent fell down, so we ended up going to the Hubbards, and they took us in, and we slept there. So anyway, it just has some details about their house and stuff. And this one is one I wrote for, I used to teach English to international students, and it was either an example of, it was either intended as a reading activity or possibly a model of descriptive writing, because they were college kids. So it talks about the Murphy bed and no electricity and some of those things, which everybody knows, but it was just in some of the books he'd written. And he mentioned that, we kind of like your idea of the cabin is, or whatever. And then 68, I made notes. And this was from our journals. 68 in March, Dad looked at the cabin site, or maybe Harlan had, I don't know, but I think they both did. Anyway, April 24 and 30 of that year, of 68, Dad moved some materials in and cleared some brush. I think my brother was with him on some of these. 69, in 69, Dad was down here, Dad and Mom were down here, whoever came, on May 5 and 6, May 9 and 10, April 8th, April 26th and 27th, June the 3rd, August the 5th, September the 20th, October 28th, and November 6th, 7, and 8. So, and then I didn't go on from there. I just did that much just because I was trying to place it in time when it was starting,
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when the visitors cabin was built.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
when
late
he was
60s,
built.
okay.
Yeah, late 60s, yeah. And I don't think it was completely finished. I read all the letters from Harlan Hubbard up through 71, and then even after that, because my dad was riding a bicycle and was killed by a drunk driver in 71 in September. But I don't know that the cabin was completely finished, because I don't know how much was done, and I looked for pictures of that. I didn't find any pictures. I think somewhere there are a couple of it in construction, but I don't remember coming down much at that point, because I was in later high school years, and I was doing stuff with the band, and
Gotcha.
like a high school band, not a fun band.
So was it set up to be like a retirement place for them, or what was it?
Yeah, and at some point, I would be glad. I don't know who should get those letters from Harlan Hubbard, and I had remembered vaguely, and then because when they first talked about it, they just talked, in rough terms, and Harlan Hubbard had mentioned that it would be fine if they started building Dad started building a cabin there and stuff, and Dad had a lot of things going on, thinking about what he was going to do. He was going to get 20 years in the state police in 1973, and then at that point, going to do his thing. And maybe that meant coming down here, living, and so there was a letter. There's several mentions of this as the, in the letters that I read from 66 or 67 on. But there was some mention of, in one letter, because I knew there was something with Anna that she really wasn't into this idea of having somebody living there permanently.
That's what we had under the impression of.
Yeah,
It was
and
good.
it talks a little bit about that in a letter from Harlan Hubbard to us. And I guess I should just assume that you know it's Harlan Hubbard instead of my brother Harlan. But yeah, that he said, you know, it was when he had first talked about it with Dad, that he had just agreed and hadn't mentioned with Anna, and so there was this and that. But they were sure they could work something out, and all that. And those letters came like right at the time that Dad was killed.
Yeah,
so I think my dad would have had that letter from Harlan and replied, because I think there was another letter from Harlan Hubbard that said he appreciated my dad's reasoned response or something like that. Okay. You know, and like I said, those letters from Harlan Hubbard should go somewhere, is what I figure, and I figure you know where they can go or not.